Alright, quick update on Green Metaverse token. In this video, we'll be quickly checking out how GMT is performing against both the US dollar pair and then the Bitcoin pair. Let's jump right into the video. So, starting off with the higher time frames, I do just want to emphasize this. I never normally like looking at the daily because there's not much data traded on this, but I do just want people to recognize that we have had a macro shift below the 786. I like to say this in all my videos. You know, if you've watched a few of my videos, you've heard it multiple times. But lower time frames, this is where it gets interesting. We're starting to see a baby influx of volume, really nothing too special. But what we are seeing that is special is the squeeze mom, our momentum indicator of choice, is starting to trickle back over to the downside, which is obviously a bearish signal. If we look at the daily, this is really not a good sign whatsoever. What's happened is we've went from a bullish market structure, we basically topped out, started running out of momentum, and then we started picking up bearish market structure as the bears came down, because, you know, from this point, you know, from down here-ish, we had already capitulated most of the move. So the bears took a break as we trended sideways for the past couple of weeks, which is why you haven't heard from me too much on GMT, because it's been a lot more boring than Green Satoshi token, which has been a very quick mover. But what we've been doing is running out of momentum, or in other words, the bears were taking a break, and now you can see we're starting to get our first light red candle coming in on the squeeze bomb, and it's already trickling in very heavily on the 4 hour. So this is not a good sign in of itself. Definitely not a good sign whatsoever. Looking at the daily, unfortunately, because we've basically capitulated below all of our moving averages now, so we really have to run off accumulation ranges and fibs. Let's see what we've got here. How is the 618 respected from the close? Candle body. It seems like they were both respected. So you can draw this anyway. 786 was had a plethora of touch points here. I actually think this is the best way to draw it from the wick. So when you do draw it from the wick, actually, you know, when you draw it from anything, you have capitulated below the 786. So that's not a good sign in of itself either. Let's see, this was $1, also a psychological level that we've now capitulated below, and I just see a ton of emminess and choppiness on this chart. Like, there's just, this chart is basically just riddled with M's. There's literally M's everywhere, which is not a good sign. Not a good sign at all. So many M's. I mean, this is not even funny. There's M's everywhere. We're very likely to break down, in my opinion. I think, you know, I've been saying this for the past couple of weeks, really the past month. But if we look at the Bitcoin dominance is doing nothing but rallying very hard. Now, when the Bitcoin dominance is rallying to the upside, it means that Bitcoin's outperforming altcoins, no matter whether the price of Bitcoin is going up or down. When the Bitcoin dominance goes up, it means the percent of the total crypto market cap that constitutes purely Bitcoin is increasing. For that to increase, it simply means Bitcoin is outperforming altcoins. It either means that altcoins are dropping at an exponential rate more than Bitcoin, or Bitcoin is increasing at an exponential rate higher than altcoins. Well, if we look at Bitcoin, you can see Bitcoin really hasn't been rallying like crazy. I mean, if anything, it's been in a macro dump. So let's just go with the middle and say that for the past month, we've been trending sideways, which is what we have been doing. The Bitcoin dominance is going up. So that can only mean one thing, that altcoins are getting slaughtered against their Bitcoin pairs. Let's check out how GMT is performing against Bitcoin. And like you see here, just like I hypothesized before, you're super bearish on this. In fact, on GMT, well, to be fair, the USD has already capitulated below the macro 786. In the past month or so, we are macro capitulating below the 786 as well on the GMT BTC pair. So the last video, because I basically said, you know, bear in mind, this looks like a weekly market structure because, you know, there's not much volume traded, but there was 3 days, more like 2.5 days worth of data traded from this low down here to the 786 fib. There is no data traded at all between these ranges. So I don't think it'd be sensible to say, okay, we could bounce from here, we could bounce from here, because you can see, I mean, this level wasn't respected. We didn't really hold it or do anything on it. But I do think we're going to come down. The last video I told you, I think GMT is going to drop 60% against Bitcoin. And I've actually been shorting a lot of these Bitcoin pairs, which has been great for me because GMT is down 23% since my last video on Bitcoin. Like I said, I mean, if you think I'm being too bearish, just go back and look at my last video, then look at the video before that, then look at the video before that, then look at the video before that. Every single video, the price is higher because, you know, every other video that I make from now on, the price is just exponentially dropping against not only the USD, because the USD, you know, fair enough, I don't really care too much about how the USD performs. In a bear market, I care about how these altcoins perform against Bitcoin. And once again, this ties in with the fact that the Bitcoin dominance is going up and Bitcoin is going to outperform altcoins. If you're buying GMT, GST, or altcoins right now, you're probably going to get wrecked. That is just my opinion. And I mean, it's been factual to what has been happening the past couple of weeks. So, like I said, I was predicting a 60% drop. Now I'm predicting a 48% drop as we've already started to move down on this. Like I said, GMT against Bitcoin is really, really not a nice, not a nice pair whatsoever. And also the market cap. The market cap has taken a pretty severe beating, almost around 5.5, or should I say $550 million. Not looking good. Still a very high market cap for what this is, in my opinion. I find it very strange that this managed to run its way up to 78. You can very much see in this market structure, it ran up super bullish within its first couple of weeks, and then since then, all of the move to earns have been losing a lot of hype. But this is how it's performing against Bitcoin as well. You can see both the USD and Bitcoin. It's getting slaughtered against all of these, but against Bitcoin, you know, they're dropping down the same. But if you're holding Bitcoin, in my opinion, you're going to be in a lot better of a position than those who are holding altcoins. So that's basically all I've got to wrap up the video. I would just like to say as well that this tiny accumulation range that we've got between the dates of the 16th of March up until the 28th of March, so basically a 12-day accumulation range, this constitutes the zones between 90 cent and 56 cent. I actually predicted that we were going to go all the way down to 56 cent when we were up here at $1.40. I was calling for a 62% drop on the USD pair, and we've dropped 36%. So this is what I'm saying, you know, if this is your first time coming on my channel and you were looking for, you know, the regular Moonboy Hopium that you would find on crypto YouTube, I'm not that type of YouTuber. I care much more about integrity than I care about likes and views. And the fact of the matter is, it seems like we're breaking down. We're already at the top of this accumulation range, and considering how we've come down here for the third time, I find it much more likely that we're going to move down to my original price target of 56 cent. I think since I started making this video as well, maybe I was just looking at this slightly differently, but the squeeze mom really does not look good. You know, this jump up in terms of bearish momentum is not a good sign over on GMT. Like I said, I'm a straight shooter. I say it how I see it. I'm not here to, you know, get likes and all of that stuff. I'm here to say what I see in the market structure. And I'm telling you, while the Bitcoin dominance keeps on moving up, altcoins are going to continue to get wrecked against Bitcoin. This is what we're seeing. So GMT against Bitcoin, I think we're moving down another 48%. GMT against the US dollar, like I said, I think we're coming all the way down to 55, 56 cent, which is another 40% drop. That's all I've got for you for GMT. Keep your eyes on 90 cent. The second we start to have daily closes below 90 cent, we're probably going to come all the way down very, very quickly. So all I've got for you today, as always, not financial advice. Cowboy out. Peace.